The 2012 re-election campaign of Barack Obama, the 44th President of the United States, was formally announced on April 4, 2011. Along with his running mate, Vice President Joe Biden, Barack Obama was opposed in the general election by former Governor Mitt Romney of Massachusetts, along with various minor candidates from other parties. The election took place on Tuesday, November 6, 2012. Obama's campaign headquarters was in Chicago, and key members of Obama's successful 2008 campaign, such as Jim Messina and David Axelrod, returned to staff it. On the day of the announcement, the campaign released a promotional video showing supporters of Obama organizing for the re-election effort. As The Guardian newspaper noted, this was the first U.S. presidential re-election campaign to use Twitter and Facebook for promotion. Between the beginning of 2011 and June 30, 2012, the Obama campaign and supporters spent approximately $400 million. According to the Federal Election Commission, Obama won his re-election bid by a margin of 51.06% to 47.21%. This was the first time since 1944, when President Franklin D. Roosevelt won re-election, that a Democratic president had won by a majority of the electoral votes and over 51% of the popular vote twice. Early stages. On January 20, 2009, Barack Obama was inaugurated as the 44th President of the United States. On April 4, 2011, President Obama officially announced his candidacy for re-election. The announcement was made via an online video titled, "It Begins With Us," posted on his campaign website. The president also filled out official forms with the FEC at that time. President Obama did not face a significant challenge in the Democratic primaries, with no other candidate on the ballot in all but 7 states. On April 3, 2012, Obama won the Maryland and District of Columbia primaries, giving him more than the required 2,778 delegates to secure their nomination. On April 30, 2012, the campaign announced that its slogan would be, "Forward." The campaign was based in Chicago in One Prudential Plaza, instead of in Washington, D.C., where all other modern incumbent presidents had their re-election headquarters. The decision to base the campaign outside of Washington was said to have been taken so as to ensure grassroots support for the re-election. Fundraising. The campaign began accepting online donations on April 4, 2011, the day Obama announced his candidacy. In the first 24 hours after online donations began to be accepted, over 23,000 online donations of $200 or less were made. President Obama headlined his first campaign fundraiser in April 2011 in Chicago. He also headlined fundraisers in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and New York in April 2011. On April 29, 2011, it was announced that Matthew Bazoon, the United States ambassador to Sweden, would serve as finance chairman. Many sources claim that the campaign may be the first campaign in U.S. history to raise more than $1 billion. In March 2011, campaign chairman Jim Messina asked a group of 450 top donors to raise $350,000. During the second fundraising quarter of 2011, the campaign raised a record amount of $86 million. As of May 3, 2012, Obama and his team have held 130 fundraisers. More than 550,000 individuals donated towards the campaign in the second quarter of 2011, which is a much larger number than the 180,000 individuals who donated to Obama's 2008 campaign during the first half of 2007. From the beginning of the campaign to December 31, 2011, more than 1.3 million individuals donated to the campaign. The LGBT community had donated a record amount so far to the campaign. As of March 31, 2012, the campaign had raised $191.7 million. On May 10, 2012, Obama attended a fundraiser in the Los Angeles home of actor George Clooney, which raised over $15 million. The fundraiser was initially estimated to raise about $10 million, but after Obama's historic announcement of his support for same-sex marriage, the amount went up significantly. Many believe that the LGBT community and activists would donate historic amounts after the announcement. Obama's campaign is also supported by Priorities USA Action, an independent expenditure PAC founded by several former Obama campaign officials, but legally prohibited from coordinating with the candidate to his campaign. Getting out the vote. The Obama campaign was highly effective in getting out the vote, in using technology to identify voters, and in capitalizing on growing segments of the voting population. President Obama won re-election, not by going after independent voters, but by going after emerging groups in the U.S. population. By race, age and gender, voters made clear that America is made up of many parts, and the Obama team captured more of them, and delivered more of them to the polls. Events leading up to the election. Presidential debates. Hurricane Sandy affected the presidential campaign as well as local and state campaigns in storm-damaged areas, as it hit the New England coast a week before the election. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, one of Mitt Romney's leading supporters, praised President Barack Obama and his reaction to the hurricane and toured storm-damaged areas of his state with the president. Obama signed emergency declarations on October 28 for several states expected to be impacted by Sandy, allowing them to request federal aid and make additional preparations in advance of the storm. According to Karl Rove and Bill Clinton, the hurricane and its aftermath ended up helping Obama. The hurricane drew attention away from the campaigns and Obama was able to take a bipartisan position and be presidential. The event sparked debates and discussions on climate change, which had been ignored by both parties prior to the event. Election. On November 6, 2012, Obama was re-elected for his second term as President of the United States. He won 65,899,660 popular votes and 332 electoral votes, 2 states short of his 2008 victory. In his victory speech in Chicago, he promised to sit down with Mitt Romney to discuss a bipartisan future for the United States. Structure. Campaign staff and policy team. Many key people from the successful 2008 campaign returned. David Axelrod, who was in charge of media in 2008 and who worked in the White House as a senior advisor to the president from 2009 until 2011, returned to Chicago to work on the campaign as the top communications official. Jim Messina, who worked in the White House as Deputy Chief of Staff for Operations from 2009 until 2011, moved to Chicago to serve as campaign manager. Matthew Bazoon, the United States ambassador to Sweden, served as finance chairman. Jennifer O'Malley Dillon, who worked at the Democratic National Committee as an executive director, was named deputy campaign manager. The other deputy campaign manager was Juliana Smoot, who was the 2008 finance director and was briefly the White House social secretary. Ben Labolt served as national press secretary. Labolt worked for Sherrod Brown's 2006 Senate campaign, as Obama's Senate press secretary, for the 2008 campaign, as of Deputy White House Press Secretary, and for Mayor of Chicago Rahm Emanuel, Katie Hogan and Adam Vetcher, who each worked on the 2008 campaign, served as Deputy Press Secretaries. Rahm Emanuel was expected to play a role in the campaign. Emanuel served as White House Chief of Staff from January 2009 until October 2010 and worked on President Bill Clinton's successful 1992 and 1996 campaigns. Rufus Gifford served as Finance Director, Elizabeth Lowery served as Deputy Finance Director, Jeremy Byrd served as National Field Director, Marlin Marshall served as Deputy National Field Director, Mish Stewart served as Battleground State Director, and Elizabeth Jarvis Sheen served as Research Director. Catherine Archuleta was named Political Director. Campaign co-chairs. In February 2012, Obama for America announced its list of campaign co-chairs. Other initiatives: Truth Team, growing out of the Attack Watch Initiative and Fight the Smears, organized as a rapid response team to both counter instances of anti-Obama rhetoric and promote Obama's record with web video and infographics. Gotta Register, site encouraging voter registration. Gotta Vote, site providing materials to prepare voters to vote on primary days and election day. Romney Economics, critical attack on Mitt Romney's record as CEO of Bain Capital and as governor of Massachusetts. Public perception. Opinion polling. In a March 2011 Pew poll, Obama held an advantage of 47% to 37%, similar to the lead that former President George W. Bush held over an unnamed Democrat in 2003 and larger than the lead former President Bill Clinton held over an unnamed Republican in 1995. An August 2011 Rasmussen poll found that in a hypothetical race between President Obama and a generic Republican, 48% backed the generic Republican and 40% backed the president. In February 2012, Obama held a sizable lead over both Mitt Romney and Rick Santorum nationally. By the end of March 2012, Obama's lead over Romney had narrowed to approximately 2.4% nationally. An August 2012 CNN.org poll found that Obama led Romney 52% to 45%. A Fox News poll conducted nearly the same time placed the two candidates 49% on to 40%, with Obama in the lead. Endorsements. Bibliography. Heilman, John, Halperin, Mark. Double Down, Game Change 2012. New York, Penguin Press. ISBN 159420440403.